Hello, my name is Shadow and today I will be covering Ember once again. Now, because I have done an Ember build somewhat recently, I will not be going over her abilities. However, I am aware that Ember has gotten a soft rework somewhat recently, but I do think that the rework happened long ago enough now that most of you probably already are aware of what the rework did and how it changed her up. Though I will be giving a bit of a TLDR about her soft rework just very quickly. Basically, her energy economy is better as the drain on her fourth ability, the drain on her second ability is now lower, and her third ability's cost now scales off the heat levels. So when your heat levels are higher, the ability will cost less than it would normally. Additionally, all of her abilities spread heat procs a lot more consistently, making her passive also a lot more consistent. And lastly, the Healing Flame augment for her third ability will now convert overheals into overguard, but only for Amber. As far as I'm aware, this doesn't work if you use Fire Blast as a helmet ability. Anyway, let's get into the build. So this is a Nuke build using Jade's Helmet, Orpheum's Eye. Now, why would I use this ability when Amber already has a armor strip? While it's true that Fire Blast is an armor strip, I find Fire Blast to be a bit inconsistent as it scales off your heat levels. Additionally, even after her soft rework and improvements to her energy economy, I find relying on her third ability for armor stripping to be a little too spammy, so I opted to have Orpheum's Eye so I can have a ability that I can just cast once every minute or so that passively armor strips enemy, which is exactly what Orpheum's Eye does. And even if I don't fully armor strip enemies with Orpheum's Eye, I can still be casting my third every now and then to finish off what it started and then fully strip enemies. This is a Nuke build, killing enemies with damage over time, heat procs from her fourth ability, so I definitely do want to have enemies armor stripped for the best possible results. The only issue is that Orpheum's Eye is a armor strip over time, and because of this, it actually does need quite a bit of power strength to make it work consistency, or at least at a pace that I want. So because of this, I opted to have 2 Tailforged Crimson Archon shards, giving me 30% power strength. And then I also have Transient Fortitude, giving me another 50% power strength, giving me a baseline of 180% power strength. Then I am using Matarai for the build with Sling Strength, which will give me 40% power strength after I do 2 consecutive slings back to back and then switch back to my Warframe, which will give me 220% power strength. And then of course we do have Embers passive, which will be giving me anywhere between like 40 to 100, 120% power strength. It's hard to tell, it'll be different in the moment. But because of this, I'll be having a power strength of probably high 200s into the 300s, which will make Orpheum's Eye quite consistent and work quite well. Additionally, I do have a Tailforged Amber Shard for maximum energy field on spawn. This is because I will not be using Xenoric as I'm using Matarai, and I do not want to drop energy pads just so I can have enough energy to set up my damage rotation at the start of the mission. So instead, I use this. The 2 Emerald Shards are for my Set Fire to the Rain build, which I will link the video for down in the description below. They are not used for this build, so you can replace them with more Tailforged Strength Shards if you wished. Or nothing, if you didn't want to put any other extra shards on her at all. For the rest of our build, we do have still Charger just because of the extra motor capacity and because I didn't put an Aura Former on her. Nothing specific about that. Archon Vital, as this is a health tank build, so we do want the health. And also because it will apply double heat procs with our fourth ability, which will increase the DPS from it. Prime Continuity for some more duration to offset Transient Fortitude, and we will also be using our secondary to further increase our duration, which I'll touch on more in a bit. Equilibrium, Prime Flow, and Archon Energize for energy economy. Now that after her soft rework, her energy economy is a lot better, but Amber still probably has one of the worst energy economies in the game, so we definitely do want a lot to support that. Healing Flame for some survivability. This will be giving us Overguard, but it doesn't give us a lot of Overguard, so don't rely on Overguard for survivability. Instead, I am relying on health tanking, not actually Overguard, which is why I'm also using Adaptation, which paired with Amber's second ability will be giving me 99% house damage reduction, and that's without factoring in my armor. And then we just have a bit of range on top of that, and of course Arcane Blessing for additional health as it is a health tank setup. We are using the Grimoire as our secondary because of Riz Invocation. because Resimplication will give us 4% additional ability duration for 20 seconds for each enemy we hit with the alt fire stacked 15 times, giving us a maximum of 60% additional ability duration. And it is really easy to get the full 60%. Basically, you just cast this whenever you have to cast Orphean's Eye to increase your duration so it can last as long as possible. Additionally, when you cast Orphean's Eye, just go into your operator, Void Sling twice, go back to your Warframe to get that extra 40% ability strength. And I also like to cast my third ability right before casting it so I can inflict enemies around me with heat procs to get the most out of her passive. And then while the ability is activated, it will lock in the ability strength from your passive and also Matter Eye throughout the entire duration of the ability. Additionally, I do also have Amalgam Barrow Diffusion just for the extra utility. The rest of the build really doesn't matter, you can put on whatever you want. For the companion, we are running Death Cube for extra energy economy, as I have maxed out Death Cube for orb generation. We have Energy Generator, which will drop energy orbs on every 10 kill assist. Duplex Bond, which will make up to 3 clones, which will have a 50% chance of dropping energy orbs on enemy kills. And Symphony Construct, which will increase the likelihood of enemy dropping health orbs that are tagged by our companion. Contagion Bond will spread status effects on enemies to nearby enemies whenever the companion kills enemies, which is very powerful. Guardian for some additional survivability for our Amber, as well as Assault Mode so Death Cube can actually attack enemies. Vacuum is of course a must-have mod, and these 3 mods are of course for the survivability of the companion. We do use Verglass as our companion weapon, as it is really the only companion weapon in the game that is capable of doing any proper DPS. We have our faction damage, base damage, fire rate, reload speed, and then we just have a viral heat setup. Do run a unranked rim round if you have one. I do not, which is why I'm not doing it. Reason being is because you want to make sure you're doing more heat damage than viral damage because of status weighting. Right now, you'll see that we have a higher chance to proc viral on enemies than we do heat. We don't want that. We want to be proccing more heat than anything else, as that is our main source of DPS. And viral is just there as an extra bonus to increase the amount of damage heat does. So if you do have an unranked rim round, definitely use it. And of course, you want to keep the unranked Maligent Force as well. Our other weapons are just utility weapons. You can really run whatever you want. It does not matter. I do recommend running Amalgam Serration on your rifles for some extra utility. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a bit more of a shorter one. And if you did enjoy this video, do check out my other content. Maybe you have picked up a new Warframe and you should go check out my channel to see if I've uploaded a video for that Warframe, and I might give you some build ideas. Additionally, I do a bunch of tutorial videos, so if you're new to the game, check out my tutorial videos and you might learn the game a bit better and will help you grow and how to do these sort of builds yourself. Anyway, until next time, bye bye!